You know, there are some individuals out there that think Wonder Woman is the first female-led superhero movie. I disagree. Wonder Woman is the first female-led superhero movie that's actually good, because remember these pieces of shits? Yeah, sorry to jog your memory. Wonder Woman is the fourth film in the DC Cinematic Universe. It's directed by Patty Jenkins, and it's actually the first film in which Wonder Woman is committed to screen, which is real crazy because it's been 70 years. You know, we've gotten TV shows, cartoon movies, but never Wonder Woman has ever been attempted at the screen. Now, a lot is riding on this movie because a lot of people want this film to pretty much be a female empowerment movie. A lot of people are riding on this movie to be the film to save the DC Cinematic Universe. And, you know, a lot of people just want this to be an all-around good film in general. So, let's get into Wonder Woman. So, in Wonder Woman is about Wonder Woman, dude. We meet Wonder Woman, a.k.a. Diana Prince. She's from Themyscira, which is pretty much an island full of warrior women. They're Amazons. And then she meets Steve Trevor, and it's the first man she ever met. Steve Trevor tells them about World War I and tells of what this could do to the world and to the people, and Diana agrees to go with him to stop this war and to defeat a specific villain that I will not spoil. But that's pretty much the plot of this movie, and I can honestly say this film was amazing on so many levels. Now, first off, I gotta talk about this film in certain specifics. Like, first of all, the first half of the film I have to say the first act of the film, it takes place in Themyscira. And then the second act of the film is pretty much a fish out of water story, as with Steve Trevor was in the first act of the film, because he was pretty much a fish out of water in Themyscira. But Wonder Woman, she is now a fish out of water within the real world, and she's trying to adapt to how the real world works. Now, granted, this is pretty much a period piece. It takes place in the 1940s, so and we can't really relate to the 1940s, but there were aspects of the 1940s that we can't relate to today. So it was just really cool seeing Diana Prince, you know, trying to adapt to our world. And it also made for some good humor in the film, which I also really like, because the humor in this film worked. Because I think we could all agree that's something that the DCEU has been lacking, is some humor. And I'm not asking for a ha ha ha, laugh out loud humor. No, we're just asking for some subtle humor that pretty much adds to the film. Like, you know, we saw this part in the trailer. It's when Steve Trevor, he introduces Wonder Woman to his secretary, and then Wonder Woman asks, what is a secretary? And then she tells him, I pretty much do whatever Steve tells me to do. And then Wonder Woman's like, well, in my world, that's considered slavery. Now, among all the Themyscira stuff and the fish out of water stuff, we do get some kick-ass scenes with Wonder Woman as well as the other characters, because, you know, that first scene where she has a Wonder Woman suit on, and then she goes on in the film and just starts kicking ass and taking names. That's where the film really gets going, and it's like, yes. Now, I loved Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman in Batman vs. Superman. She was a better part of that film, and I absolutely loved her in this film, and I love her as Wonder Woman. Granted, she still has a long ways to go acting-wise, but I felt like for what she was given in this film, she did it perfectly, and she definitely portrayed the physicality parts of the character good, and especially because I heard during the movie she was pregnant, so it was just really cool seeing her perform all that stuff. Now, obviously, you know, there are some stunt women and there is some CGI involved, but it was just really cool seeing Wonder Woman committed to the screen like this, like we have never seen her before. And I definitely agree that Gal Gadot, she definitely brought some humanity to Wonder Woman, because again, you know, she's a fish out of water in the real world, so she only knows what she's accustomed to from Themyscira, and not only that, but like she's a female character that not necessarily pretty much overpowers the man, but she just represents strength, and that's what I love about her. And Gal Gadot definitely brought that to Wonder Woman. Chris Pine is in the film as Steve Trevor, and I loved him in this film. He brought the humor. Like, this is like, we also saw this in the trailers, but it's a scene where Gal Gadot, she explains to him that I was brought to life by Zeus being made out of clay, and then Steve Trevor's like, well, that's neat. And it was just perfect because his timing, his comedic timing in the film was just perfect, but he also brought some humanity to the character and also to Wonder Woman and just to this whole film in general. I loved how he pretty much interacted with Wonder Woman, and how he pretty much brought some gravitas, if you will, to the film. He pretty much helped ground Wonder Woman in this world. But the biggest thing of why I love this film is that, again, it's a period piece, so it's not worried about anything that's going on in the universe right now with Suicide Squad and Batman vs. Superman and all that. It's not worried about all that. It is a nice contained story that doesn't rely on anything, and it definitely benefits of it being a period piece. Because that's definitely something that DCEU has also been lacking. Like, they're just been, which is, focus on the movie that's in front of you and stop making it a setup for 15 other movies to come in the not too distant future. And I feel like this movie did it perfectly. It wasn't relying on anything. It didn't pander to anything. It was just a nice contained story, and it was focused. Hell, with Wonder Woman in the movie, I'd say I feel like this movie adds to Batman vs. Superman and where Wonder Woman's head is in Batman vs. Superman. As you watch this film and then you look at her in that film, you're like, oh, okay, I see how it is. And I hope they definitely build upon that in Justice League. As for my negatives, honestly, I gotta say, at first, I will say this, there was one misdirect in the film. I thought I knew who the villain was, but then it turns out to be someone else, which was a good misdirect, but how they illustrated the villain in the film, I feel like they could have done better. And I guess they're really starting to take a page out of Marvel's book, which is they put more of the focus on the hero but not put any much focus into the villain. And that's something that the Marvel films are lacking in, is good villains outside of Loki. In the third act, which involves the villain, it gets kind of CGI heavy, and DC, they love their CGI heavy finales. Well, I did enjoy this finale though, but I can't help like when I saw this finale, I couldn't help but think of the other big CGI heavy finales I saw in Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, and even Man of Steel. So I just think they really need to kind of find a way to pretty much add to that, because it'll get to a point where it's pretty much just going to be a blueprint. But other than that, again, I loved Wonder Woman. It was a breath of fresh air to see this film, and for a lot of good reasons. Just to see a good female-led superhero film. It saves the DCEU, I guess. I'll say that, though. Even though I prefer the Ultimate Cut of Batman vs. Superman. I enjoyed Suicide Squad for what it was. I love Man of Steel, but this film definitely saved the. Well, I won't even. Matter of fact, I won't even say it completely restores my faith in the DCEU, because we still got Justice League, and I think Justice League, that is really going to be the final verdict of what we can expect going forward with the DCEU. But as for Wonder Woman, I'm just going to relish in how good Wonder Woman was. I love this film. I'm going to give Wonder Woman 4 stars for worth money. Is because of how they handled the villain in the film, and they could have added more with that, and how they handled that third act with the villain. That is really what I guess kind of pushed me away from giving this movie a masterpiece. But other than that, you really should go see this movie. It's worth your money. It's worth seeing. Go see this movie, please. All right, so yeah, that's it for the day. If you like this video, go ahead, hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more, check out my channel. The link is in the description below. And be sure to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and Periscope. Peace.